All right, today we're tackling a topic that is, without a doubt, the bedrock of legal practice: handling client funds. Now, this isn't just about good accounting, it's about integrity, plain and simple. It's all governed by some very strict rules under the Legal Practice Act, and, well, getting this wrong can have some pretty serious consequences. So let's break down exactly how to get it right.
Before we even get into the weeds of the rules, we have to get our mindset right. And honestly, this quote right here says it all. The money a client gives you, it is never, ever yours. It doesn't belong to the firm. You're simply its guardian, its protector, and it's your job to look after it with the absolute highest level of care.
So to make this crystal clear, we're going to follow the money on its entire journey through your practice. We've broken it down into 4 essential steps, from the moment it lands in your account all the way to the final statement. Okay, let's start at the very beginning. A client has just handed you their money, they've put their trust in you, so what's the first thing you do? Well, this first step is all about one simple but incredibly strict rule.
Look, before a single cent even moves, you need one thing: a clear, written mandate from your client that says exactly what that money is for. Got it? Great. Because then Section 86 of the Act kicks in, and it's crystal clear. You deposit those funds into your trust account as soon as possible. No delays, no exceptions.
And this really gets to the heart of it. A trust banking account is like a legal fortress. It builds this impenetrable wall between your client's money and your firm's own cash. And this is so critical because it means if your business ever gets into financial trouble, your creditors cannot touch that trust money. It belongs to the client, period. All right, on to step 2. A lot of the time, this money is going to sit in your trust account for a while. So can you make it work for your client? Can it actually earn interest? Yes, absolutely. And the Act gives us 2 very distinct ways to do this. Now, this is a really crucial distinction, so let's break it down. The default position under Section 86(3) is that any interest earned in your main trust account gets paid over to the legal practitioner's Fidelity Fund. But, and this is a big but, if your client gives you a specific written instruction, Section 86(4) lets you open a separate, dedicated account just for them. And in that case, the interest earned goes straight to your client. Now, there's just one little thing to remember when you're investing for the client's benefit under Section 86(4). A tiny portion of that interest, just 5%, still goes to the Fidelity Fund. You can think of it as a small contribution to the system that makes it possible for your client's money to actively work for them. So we've received the funds, we've invested them, now it's time to actually use them for what they were meant for: paying disbursements. This is the stage where the most dangerous and, frankly, the most common mistakes happen. And it's all about one golden rule you just can't break. Let's use a classic example: paying the sheriff. The decision-making process here is dead simple. You ask one question: does this specific client have enough money in their trust ledger to cover this? If the answer is yes, fantastic, you pay it directly from the trust account. If the answer is no, you absolutely cannot touch the general trust fund. The firm has to front the money from its own business account and then bill the client. That's it. There is no third option. And let's not mince words here. This slide says it all. If client A doesn't have funds in trust and you dip into the general trust account to pay their bill, you're not borrowing. You are literally taking money that belongs to client B, client C, and client D. The law doesn't call this a clerical error, it calls it theft. If you remember only one thing today, please make it this rule. The case is closed, the work is done, and now we're at the final stop on our journey: the accounting. And believe me, this is way more than just sending a final invoice. This is about delivering a complete, totally transparent record of every single cent that moved through that account.
So what has to be in this statement of account? Well, everything. Every cent that came in, any interest they earned, every single disbursement you paid out, your professional fees, and of course the final balance. The goal is for the client to look at this one single document and see the entire story of their money, clear as day. And here's a pro tip, a really common pitfall to watch out for. When you pay a third party, say the sheriff again, their invoice is going to include VAT. You have to make sure you debit the client's ledger for the full VAT-inclusive amount. Forgetting this tiny detail can create accounting nightmares and big shortfalls down the line. It really just comes down to being meticulous.
Okay, so let's just do a quick flyby of the whole process one last time. When money comes in, you deposit it ASAP. For investing, you need that written mandate. For disbursements, you only pay if that specific client has the funds. And for your fees, you only transfer them after you sent the invoice. You see, every step has a clear rule, all designed to do one thing: protect the client's money. You know, in the end, the Legal Practice Act gives us this incredibly detailed roadmap, but following it takes more than just knowing the rules. It takes discipline, diligence, and just an unwavering commitment to your role as a custodian. The rules, they provide the floor, but it's your integrity that provides the ceiling, and that's what protects your client, your firm, and your entire profession.